right, South Africa are champions of the Test playing world, beating Australia in the championship final at Lords. BJ, beating them pretty convincingly in the end, it has to be said.
Well, you're right. I would say that I did not see this coming. I thought Australia would roll over them. Even into the last day when they needed 69 to win, you could tell they would be nervous about that, given the history and everything that goes on. But, you know, I think it's really good for cricket. I think it's really good that they've come out and they've played and they've won this game. They've got the monkey off the back. They've always been pushed into a corner where the people have been worried about, can they do it? They choke, they do all that. There's no doubt the Aussies would have brought that up while they were playing. But, you know, full credit to them. You know, I think Markham is a fine player. I think it's his 400 against Australia. And there's a lot of questions being asked about the top order.
You're absolutely right. Here it is, because bowlers dominated. We know that certainly in the first day, second day, and they needed someone to step up, and he was the man. He's done it before, and he's doing it again.
And then, look, they're talking about the pitch and it looked pretty flat and all those type of things, but no, you've got to give credit to the batting here. I mean, the bowlers have done it so well for Australia in the past. This time they couldn't get over the line. When the sun comes out at Lords, it flattens out. There's no doubt about that, Crash. But you've got to give them credit for the way that they've played.
My only disappointment is it ends one of the greatest stories in world sport, the hoodoo over South Africa. Cronulla's won an NRL premiership, Queensland's won a Sheffield Shield, the Bulldogs have won the AFL, and now South Africa. I'm retiring with the end of the show. Thanks for your company, folks.
Just a one-day title or a T20 title. So let's just keep it at that.
But look, Test cricket in South Africa had faded to the point where next summer they have 0 home tests. Really? You think of that. They've gone for the money, for the T20s and all that. Like, it was fading, and it was so sad. You think of the great players they've had, but Markram, during the ball tampering affair, Sandpaper Gate, he scored a couple of centuries in that series. No one remembers it. They sledged him deluxe, and he just stood there and batted. He's tough. I love him.
But Verma's record as captain is exceptional. Big fight in a small package with this man. I do love this picture of him celebrating. That's fast bowler Mako Jansen, but he's an inspirational figure, isn't he?
Oh, my God.
He batted well. He batted really well, didn't he? I mean, look, this is a guy that just sort of didn't want to get out. He had the fight and he had the courage the way he played. He may not have the extravagance of playing all the shots and all that, but he dug in, and that's what he had to do. That's exactly
what he had to do. There was 55 test gap between his first and second test centuries, and during that time he was lampooned by everyone who said, oh, you're just getting a go because of the racial quotas. He was so down, but he just kept at it. When they thought he was gone, he suddenly improved. It's incredible.
All right, let's flip it then. Captain Pat Cummins is always very calming presence with the media and with his team, but, gee, he's obviously aware big decisions need to be made.
Sending to bat, it's never going to be easy for the top three, but yeah, I think there's probably quite a few people in the lineup that kind of wish they could have done a little bit more, and obviously, you know, the top three was an obvious one in this game. You know, do we feel like now's the right time to change, or do you hold, you know, with the team that got us to the final? So, yeah, I think we'll kind of got a couple of weeks before the first test in the Windies, so I think we'll sit down and have a bit of a think, and after we digest this game.
BJ, clearly trouble at the top.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard them sort of say outright, we're going to make changes. I reckon they will. I think Marnus will go, and I think Inglis will come in for Steve Smith.
Marnus was the last chance.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with dropping Marnus. I think he's a good enough player to come back into the side, but he needs to go. You know, and you never know. I reckon by the third test in the Ashes here this summer, we might be looking for another opener as well. I'm not so sure about Khawaja. So that's 2 spots. Sam Constance will definitely come in for the Windies. I don't think Cam Green is a number 3. I think he's a 5 or 6. But, you know, getting a couple of hundreds in county cricket doesn't make you a test number 3, and I reckon he's struggled. Marnus, to me, is struggling. He's not looking to score. He's not looking to put the pressure on the bowler. He's just hanging in there and trying to do exactly what he tried to do there.
And, BJ, it was interesting. Kevin Peterson was quoted as saying, this team, it was just a nice run of words. He said, this team just won't scare England. Do you accept that?
I think he's spot on. I think they're not going to hurt you. And that's when he was commentating as well, and that's what he said there. You know, you look at the team sheet, look, Steve Smith, no doubt about it, batting number 3, he's world class. Outside of that, Travis Head, you know, could be a hit and miss depending on what's going on out there. You got Bo Webster at 6. You got Khawaja, who's looking to occupy the crease, opening the batting. You got a new opener and a new number 3. So that's not going to suddenly turn it around.
No, but can we solve that problem? Because we haven't really had young guys coming through who we've played or given a lot of time.
Well,
ageing team.
I think the issue's always been, Crash. Every summer for the last 3 years, I reckon we're going, what's our top 6? We've never been able to lock it down at all.
No.
Since Davey Warner's gone.
It's incredible.
As well. That's made it worse.
that we're on the verge of our 6th change, the opening batsman, since Warner retired. And I've got to say this, he was underrated. You get an opening batsman averaging 45 at a strike rate of 80 over 10 years. But look, I agree, Labuschagne has to go. But I'll tell you this. This will be the first test for a long time where there's no Labuschagne or Warner in the field, the spark plug, the energiser bunny. You don't need 10 of them, you don't need 5, but you need one, and this team won't have one. Like, they've got to be careful over there in the West Indies.
So what direction are they taking, though? Like, they even tried Steve Smith at opener.
Well, the problem with it is Australia hasn't really got a 1, 2 or 3 floating around, or a couple of batsmen that can bat in the top 3. We've got plenty of batsmen that bat in the middle order. So Steve Smith would have gone, you know what, OK, I'll take the heat here, I'll go up and open, I reckon I can get away with it. He went up there and went, you know what, I don't want to do it anymore. That's not working. He batted well at the Gabba against the West Indies, but that is the problem. We've got a lot of middle order batsmen. They're trying to squeeze them up the top, and I don't think they're good enough. Well, but whoever opens the first test in the Windies, sorry, Tony, probably should open the whole 3 and then maybe the first 2.
Well, you mentioned Steve Smith. He's unlikely to play, at least in that first test. He may. It doesn't seem as bad as what we thought, but he broke his finger attempting this catch on Burma there, which at a key moment. But that was a bit ugly, point in the wrong direction.
Geez, it was close. It was like a silly point there, Nelly.
With the helmet.
But with the helmet on. Yeah. That wouldn't have helped.
Well, he said that. He said because of the helmet, he picked it up late, which only raises the question, BJ. He's got terrific reflexes. Why would he need to wear a helmet? Seriously. It's not as if he's in the line of fire. The ball's going to come off an edge. I just think... I mean, that was the biggest event of the whole day. That was Bavuma on 2.
Yeah, look, I don't know why he wore a helmet, but standing that close, I reckon it can be hit and miss, especially with Mitchell Stark around the wicket and someone nicks it quickly.
And it
got it caught up here.
I've got a chest guard on. All right, it was the first test back at Lords for the Aussies since the Johnny Besto stumping drama. There was nearly another diplomatic incident. Alex Carey just a breath away from appealing. That was David Bedingham there for handled ball. The ball come off the bat onto the body. Rolls down, and Alex is there or thereabouts.
No way. Back in your seat,
Pat Cummins says he would have withdrawn appeal if they
I reckon they wanted to appeal.
Really?
Absolutely. Look at that. He grabs it because he knew, and then he drops it knowing that he didn't want the ball to run backwards. So there's no doubt he went to stop the ball for
so
maybe
how would you have felt if they appealed and he got out?
You wouldn't be happy, but you'd accept it because it's part of the rules. And in this probably woke environment, you probably wouldn't want to upset anyone, so that's why Pat Cummins was going, OK, we wouldn't have done it for you.
Players have been given out for less. Michael Vaughan, this is 2001 against India, and boop, it is. Now,
fair enough, Vaughnie. I mean, come on.
You giving that out? No drama at all?
Yep. You can't touch the ball. You're not allowed to. There. He did that to stop it rolling back. See you later, Vaughnie.
This is Steve Waugh. He was probably guilty. This is also 2001, also against India. This is subtle, not really. Handball in the playground at school. I remember watching this one myself. Graham Gooch fending off Merv Hughes, 1989 Ashes. There you go. Diggy Bird up there is the umpire there. Look at that. And look, there are you
There's
up,
BJ.
I want to get your take on that in a second. Ben Stokes, now he was out trying to stop being, basically run out there from Stark. Down they go. He was
That's a reflex. Yeah. That to me is a reflex.
But he still handled the ball and stopped it. Now, this is the worst. Andrew Hilditch against Pakistan at Sarfaraz bowling. Look, throws it straight. He picks it up, gives it back. Appeals. It's the only handled ball dismissal in a test match on the non-striker's end.
That was shocking. That was at the Wacker in Perth. That was terrible.
He was such a pot stirrer, Sarfaraz. He loved just stirring people up.
That was so bad.
One of the great pot stirrers.
It's up there with the underarm.
It absolutely probably is. It's absolutely terrible. What about the Merv Hughes one, though, the Graham Gooch? You were there?
Well, that was my first test match, and when Gucci did that was in the second innings, Merv went off his head. You can't effing do this, you can't do that. And AB ran in from gully and went, all right, Merv, just hang on, all right? We're going to appeal, yes, and Gucci's going to be out. And Merv went, well, thank for that. I don't reckon Merv knew the rules. He just reckon it just looked wrong. And he went, you can't do that, can you? Can you, AB?
Was it true, BJ, that Alan Border used to just go off if a batsman touched the ball?
Oh, yeah.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. AB would never want anyone to touch the ball. Or he hated batsmen like picking the ball up and throwing it back to the opposition. What's the point? That's their job. That's their job to fill. Why do batsmen have to do it?
He
No,
just
it doesn't
likes
like
a
that.
needle. I love it.
No.
All right, look, if you've been one of the best fast bowlers in history, you deserve a pre-lunch beer at the cricket. The great Jeff Thompson watching at Lord's there, downs his breakfast.
Tried to hide it, didn't he?
Yeah, just washing down the breakfast just after 10:30 a.m, which I think is perfect. It's a different time zone at cricket grounds, obviously.
That would have been his third.
Just rolling the arm over nice and early, Tone. That's play on. There's no problem there.
No, it's at the cricket.
It's the cricket.
It's expected.
The good news is we've got Tomo. That was in the morning. This is afternoon, Tomo.
Jesus, hot out here.
Is that a couple of sleeping tablets?
Sunscreen, Tomo, come
There's a
on.
little siesta in the afternoon.
What a legend.
We
know
love you, Tomo.
Oh, the funny thing is about Tomo, when he goes over there, you would think he would be the absolute opposite to all the English gentlemen. But he knocks up getting guest speaking gigs because they absolutely love Tomo for all his rawness and rambunctious nature.
Brilliant. Is it just me, or are Matthew Hayden's hats getting bigger? What the?
BJ, come on.
I don't know what he is doing. He looks like the media centre at Lord's is on his head.
He's off a dairy farm in Queensland, BJ. It looks like he's borrowed Bob Caddy's hat.
Haydos, please take that
I like
off.
it. I like
Take it off. How do you get the cans over when he's in commentary? That's what I'm trying
He's
to
got
work
to
out.
take it off then, surely.
People sitting on the brim of that.